As per usual, we do not use metal panel removal tools when doing this. We always start with our plastic panel removal tool. And in the 1 series, it's going to be really difficult to show, but you can see where my finger goes. You'll feel a hole between the front wood grain, or it may be metal, or it may be carbon. You can see there's a seam that runs along this edge, and we're going to separate the front from the back. So this seam is essentially where we're splitting the panel. Back here, you'll feel a hole. If you can actually get your finger in it a little bit. And that's where we're going to begin our prying. The panel comes right out. There's no hinging or anything. It comes directly towards you. So we're going to take our plastic panel removal tool, and we're going to kind of get it back in there. And then we're going to just pull out. And I don't know if you saw that. What I did, I twisted the tool. And in twisting it, it pops the bottom edge free. And once that bottom edge is free, we then want to use our hands the rest of the way up. So just come, you can see the panel freeing itself. Take firm grip, but don't pull too hard. It's going to just come. Comes off like so. And you can see there's a couple little, these are the metal clip, these are the attachment points. And this one, for example, got hung up on there. I'm glad actually it did. So just reinstall it right back on there for when we put the panel back on. And place this panel to the side so as not to scratch it or damage it. And what that's going to do for us is reveal 1, and can't see, 2 Torx T20 bolts. Again, we're going to remove each one of these. And this is super exciting, so check it out. So with the Torx T20 bolts removed from the door handle, we're going to move back to this little guy here. It's just a little plastic panel there. We're going to have to use an angle tool to pop out. So this is included in your BSW toolkit. You want to be kind of careful. The plastic isn't particularly malleable, but you know, so just we're going to take this. There's a little tab there. I'm just going to pop it out like so. Now, I won't recommend putting your thumb over that with the pick tool there. But I just didn't want to shoot it across the floor. So with that out, it reveals yet another Torx T20 bolt, which we will remove. And this one's different from the front too, so don't confuse these when you're putting the car back together. This is more of a machined bolt as opposed to a screw, like a cutting type screw. So you want to make sure that the silver bolt goes back into the back portion of the door panel, and the black bolts go into the door handle. So with those guys removed, the door is essentially free at this point. We're going to have to snap it off. But in the 1 series, which differs from every other model out there, we actually have to get the window controls out before we get the panel off. It's the same on the passenger door and the driver's door. It's kind of tricky to do, and I want to show you up here how we do this. There are clips here, 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 and here. There are tabs here and here which go back. So what you actually have to do is you have to pry up the panel here. So when you lift up, and then you lift this way, because back here there are 2 tabs that extend below this edge. So you must pry this front edge up and the sides up and pull up this way, because if you try prying from the back, you're going to break it because the tabs aren't going to give, whereas the clips do give. So with our plastic panel removal tool, and keep in mind this can take a couple of seconds, and it's a little bit, if you've not done this before, you may think you're going to break the panel. It's very difficult to break. The plastic is pretty durable. I start here and work my way around, and then it's a combination of your hands and your tool. So using your panel tool, you work your way around it, because you actually have to get the panel used to the idea that, hey, I'm coming out of here. And you can see that it'll start to come, and then it kind of says, no, we're not coming out of there. I don't think so. So, just working around this lip. And the back side's one of the trickier sides. It just takes a minute to convince it that it is in fact coming out of here, and you can see it keeps wanting to go back down. If you've got a couple of panel removal tools, if you've got an extra one or you've got something else lying around, There we go. You can see now the panel is largely free, and this is where it gets kind of tight. So you just have to pry it up out of there. And this one, see, that's okay. Now we're just going to unplug the switch. And you can see what I'm talking about with the plastic tabs on the back and the clips on the side. And this one, the clip bent just a little bit, but that's okay. We can bend it back down. There we go. And that'll snap right back in when we're done with it. So with this out, we can now go ahead and start taking the door panel off. And these 1 series are very, very, very well done. The clips are extremely tight. So again, the trick is we've got to start on one section of the door with our tool, and then we're going to use our hands to work around the outer perimeter. And then lastly, we'll pull off the door panel from its top hinges. So again, with our plastic panel removal tool, I want to start up on this front edge where it's the most hidden if you were to inadvertently scratch a panel. And then you get your tool back there, and that's going to just pop. You heard it. That gets the first little tab off, and from there we can use our hands. And like I said, these 1 series are tight, so firm grip, firm pressure, but don't rip it. You couldn't hurt it anyway, but just firm pressure. And the panel keeps coming and coming and coming. And now you're going to want to take a firm grip of the panel because we're taking this top lip off. It just comes right off, and you can see the door clip here. We're going to lift up and off of the door tab, and that just leaves a couple of plugs and our door switch. Well, actually, let's do this first. We'll just unplug the mid-range driver and the tweeter. So that's very simple to do. It just pulls straight out. And lastly, we just have our door clip here, which, like all of the BMWs, let's see if I can show this down here. There's a plastic clip right down here, a little white tab, and what we're going to do is we're going to push it back and lift up at the same time. So using one hand lifting up, let me show you how I did that again. So you can see how this works. It goes down in, and you can watch the clip. Let me see if I can't show you. The clip latches. So what we're essentially doing is flexing this clip off and pulling up at the same time. And be careful, you could nick your finger with the clip. And it's much more methodical than that. This is just kind of, it's very well done. You're not going to break it. You can't damage it. It's a very well designed piece. So with the door clip removed, we just unhook it from its clips down here, and the panel is now free from the car. So at this point, we're going to take our panel over to our workspace and replace the...
Move the vapor barrier using the non-marring pry tool. Be careful not to damage the vapor barrier panel and try to keep the adhesive intact.